All right, dudes, this is the best B-17G I've ever seen in restoration. It is called the Short Beer. This plane actually served in the Brazilian Air Force. It was purchased by an Ogden businessman called Lindquist. He served as a navigator aboard a B-17 that was lost in action by the same name. He found this, acquired it, bought it, and donated it to the Hill Air Force Base Museum, and he funded this entire restoration. So the reason this plane is so awesome is because a local businessman paid all the hundreds of thousands of dollars to get it to this condition. Again, keeping these planes restored is such a work of love, but it's very expensive. This again is a G model, so they put this chin turret on to thwart off ME-109 FW-190 attacks, frontal attacks on the F models in World War II, which were successful. The Germans found out that this was a lower quadrant, had no guns, so they would come up underneath the nose and attack from underneath. They'd kill the bombardier, the navigator, and they would basically destroy the weapon system. So this came out in the early 40s, G models with 250 cal Brownings. The bombardier would run these in a powered turret along with two ventral 50 cal Brownings as well. All the guns added a ton of weight to the plane, but this was not designed to operate alone. The Flying Fortress was designed to operate in a formation with covering fire. You can go into Wikipedia and you can see the formations that it was designed to have, and actually it was quite effective. If all the fortresses did their job, it's actually very difficult for the fighters to penetrate with all the guns working, all the planes in position for them to score hits on them. But once one plane fell out of formation or was damaged or lost, then it started to fall apart and was weakened, and the Focke-Wulfs and the Messerschmitts could come in and do a lot of damage. It was pretty commonplace for all these motors to be shut down. B-17, again, like we saw at Castle Air Force Base Museum, amazingly durable. You have pictures online. I showed you some already about them coming back with engines blown off, nose sections completely blown off, partial wings missing, and it would still bring their crew back. It's an awesome Boeing product. Boeings are the best. There's a quick placard. I'll show that just for a second, showing what it is. Some of the history I was talking about. But yeah, this, I mean, I haven't seen every B-17G in existence, but this is top notch, the level. Notice it's stored indoors too, so a lot of the surfaces, like on the horizontal stabilizer, are fabric. They're made of canvas. This is canvas here, it's canvas right up there. To store it outside is impossible. Like I told you at Castle, those panels are usually replaced with aluminum, so they store better. But when you store it inside, you get such a better presentation, preservation of the plane. Most dangerous plane position ever, the ball turret. That's not a life-size Browning. That's a training cutout to teach the gunners about maintenance and the armors about it. Just a cool example of it. So again, all made possible by a local businessman. I just love this plane. It's a Short Beer is its call sign. Here's a tail gun position. Facsimile 50 cal Brownings in the back. Let's see if they still have the canvas on here. No, they replaced it with metal. In war, this would have been canvas right here, but probably for restoration, preservation, they put the metal on it. Cool plane, man. So I don't know how much more I can show you because it is busy here in the interior of the museum. It's super loud. But I did want to show you this one. I promised I would show you it. Oh, look at this P-51, dudes. Oh my gosh, that's a beautiful example. Look at the kills on the side. P-51D, the plane that actually changed the air war in Europe because it could fully escort the plane in the background, the B-17G, the B-24 Liberators, to and from the targets. It had the range, and then once it got to the target, it also had the combat capability to go head-to-head and dominate, actually, with a good pilot, the ME-109s and FW-190s. Great fighter aircraft, very few weaknesses, reliable. 6 50 cal Brownings on this. I kind of always wish I had 8, like the P47 Thunderbolt. Look at that shot right there. Is that cool or what? B-17 in the background with a P-51 nose. That is awesome. Like I said, if I had a World War II plane, I could only have one. It'd probably be a P-51. Maybe a bomber, but I'm talking if all the maintenance costs were paid for me. So here we go. Aircraft sponsor. So this is a local business place, Wolf's Accounting Services. They're paying to keep this plane in order. They probably paid for its restoration, and I'm more than happy to roll their name on camera to give them some publicity. The government does not pay for this museum. It is privately funded. All this is private efforts. Be cool to climb aboard that plane, wouldn't it, and just go check it out. I have been inside a B-17 before, also a B-24 Liberator. You will be shocked at how cramped it is. It's very cramped inside. Remember, these were unpressurized aircraft. The 24s and 17s were completely unpressurized, dudes. Excellent. Speaking of B-24, here you go. This one has been like this forever, by the way. I don't think it's ever changed. I was here about 10 years ago, and I think the same diorama was in place then. Very cool, actually. I like it a lot. So it shows probably a factory in Burbank putting this together. Let's see where the factory would be. I thought it was in Burbank. Oh, you know what it is? Probably celebrating overhauls here at Hill Air Force Base, because this was a depot level maintenance facility for B-24s and B-17s, and that's probably what this diorama recreates. Again, the women did the work. All the men were off to war. Hey, it's so far quiet. I'm going to continue. Oh, P-47 dudes. Oh, I love this plane. Look at all the kills on that. Gabby Gabreski, Robert S. Johnson, some of the aces in the P-47. This is a D model. R2800, Pratt & Whitney, double WASP motor, 2,500 horsepower. About 435 miles an hour at altitude. Nothing could beat it in the dive, though, with a Hamilton standard prop on it. It would smoke even a Focke-Wulf. It's a cool paint job on it too. P-47. The Brits used to laugh and said, if you ever got shot at, you just unstrap and run around in the fuselage so you don't get hit. They were amazed at how big this plane was when it was unloaded off the ships in World War II. Compared to a Supermarine Spitfire, this thing was massive. Later in the war, the P-47 was instrumental in breaking the backbone of the German transportation system as they ran strafing attacks on the railroads. We talked about that, I think. This is a really nice example of a P-47. So it was a very feared ground attack plane. Look at the B-24 again before we leave. That's a nice diorama, actually. Oh, dude, they got a V1 flying rocket here. So this is a German V1 rocket. I'm not showing it. Here it is. V1. Buzz bomb. Looks like this was a test one that they had. Let's see what it says here. You can read it. Vengeance weapon. V stands for whatever. For weapons of reprisal. Struck targets indiscriminately due to their crude guidance system. Many civilians were killed as a result. Of over 8,000 V1s launched, only about 50% reached their target. Nicknamed the buzz bomb because the noise generated by its pulse jet engine. These are actually shot down by prop planes. There are some Spitfires that shot down B1s. I think some Sea Furies. Any of the later Mark Brit aircraft were able to shoot down a V1. I wanted to say the Meteor had a V1 kill too. I could be off on that. I'm talking about the Meteor, the first British jet. But yeah, it wasn't very strategic in changing the outcome of the war. Like that says correctly, I think it was just a revenge weapon. That's all it did. Huh. Mark 6 atomic bomb. You see those every day. Nice detail of this. Look, it's an upper gun turret for the, well, here a B-24. Same one they use in the B-17. How'd you like to go to war in this, dudes? This is where you fight. This is your workstation. Again, became rapidly outmoded with radar technology coming out in like the B29. Human aimed guns just weren't effective. And I had that discussion, machine guns versus cannon, with you guys before, I think. P38 Lightning. Richard Bong in the Pacific Theater as a civilian became a leading ace in this plane against the Japanese Zero, Betty bombers, and any other Japanese, Imperial Japanese targets. Super fast, real stable gun platform is what I understand from the P38. It's very easy to shoot accurately. Twin motors, so if you lost one, you had that capability to get back on one engine. It was a big fighter, it was visible. It couldn't turn with like a Japanese Zero, but it could dive well in the hands of a skilled pilot. It was a match. It had certain advantages in an air-to-air, you know, face-off versus some other planes, and the Japanese respected this one big time. Fork-tailed Devil, that's what I was trying to remember. 414 at 25,000 feet is what the speed was. Look at the range though, 2260 with drop tanks. That's a long range for a P38. Nice paint job on this one. No gloss, it's all matte. Light OD on the top, matte gray on the bottom, period correct. Served mostly, I think, in the Pacific Theater, the not P47, but P38 Lightning. A couple T6s hanging from the ceiling right here. Actually, that's not a T6, that's something else. That's a T6 Texan, I think. I'd have to go close check. F86, another example. We saw the other one at Castle Air Force Base. We talked about it. I think this is when we had our cannon versus machine gun discussion when we were considering the F86. The MiG-15, dude, that was a plane. It was more than a match for this plane for the day. In the hands of two equally matched pilots, I think the MiG-15 was a better plane. This was more rugged. It could dive faster. I think the MiG-15 had a tighter turning circle, and this is before they were, again, integrating air-to-air missiles. And then we saw this as well, didn't we? F-84 Thunderjet. Yeah. Quick look at its placard right here. That's a really nice paint job. Trying to see. Cost originally was $147,000 a piece. Boy, people would line up today if they could buy one of these for that. Your fuel cost would be about $5,000 a day though. Just saying. There's another one over here. So here's a swept wing version of that same plane. See if they upgraded the cannon yet. Nope, still rocking the 650 cal Brownings. Served in Vietnam. This is a Vietnam era paint job actually, period correct. Same colors of Vietnam. I think it was always a pretty effective paint job, this was. Tan, foliage green, and olive drab. Now I'm a model maker from way back. I don't know if you guys know that. So I used to make models all the time growing up as a kid. And so maybe that's one reason I'm talking about the paint job so much, because I used to consider such things. I still do though. I mean, everything I do in review is there's a lot to the aesthetics of an item, whether it's a watch, a knife, a gun, a car. Aesthetically, if you want to sell something, it's got to appeal to your buyer. Not really talking about a jet, but it's kind of the same thing. Aesthetics are hugely important. Hugely. Oh, dude, I spent some time in that plane, T37 Tweet. Oh yeah, that's a fun plane to fly. It's the second time you've seen it, of course. This is a standard AETC paint job. Shiny navy blue on the bottom, white on the top. Super fun in acrobatics. Miserably hot in the summertime with a completely inadequate air conditioning system. It was garbage, but a fun plane, reliable too. Man, you talk about a plane the US Air Force got its money out of. The T37 is one of them, one of their all-time best buys. The attack version again was the A37. We talked about that. Also, we talked about this, but look at the freaking paint job on this. The A26 Invader. So this is a counterinsurgency plane, probably in Vietnam. Entered combat during World War II. A-26s dropped bombs, ground targets, and rocket attacks. U.S. Air Force continued to use the A-26 during Korea and Vietnam Wars to combat enemy ground forces. That's correct. This one was designated as a C model, entered service in 1945. After various assignments, it transferred to the Hill Museum in 1990. It was restored to an earlier B model design and painted in black and red scheme of the 13th Bombardment Unit Light, that served in the Korean War. Oh, so I thought it was Vietnam. No, it's Korean. Devil's Own Grim Reapers. So this is a ground attack plane during the Korean conflict. Sick. 16 to 1850 cal machine guns in the nose. Average cost to build as of 1944, $192,000. A-26. Look at the ordnance loadout they have on this too. Just replica ordnance, of course. Very cool. Again, look at how these paint jobs on the inside just weather so much better versus an outside location. I mean, they just look fabulous. They don't have to combat rain, snow, sun, UV damage. Look at the detail they put on these bombs.
Pretty cool.
There's some cool planes, huh? This isn't the only part either. They have a completely different hangar behind us with modern jet fighters. This is just a vintage section, I think. Oh, there's my T38. Coming up here, there's T33, Dad's plane. T33, Dad and my plane. This is a plane my dad named, the Talon. That's correct. He named it. It's a beautifully preserved white T38. I'm trying to remember that tail flash. Is that Laughlin? I might say on the placard. I don't know. Love flying that plane. Full afterburner closed patterns in the T38 are one of my favorite life experiences. That and good pizza. They're really up there together.
Yeah, it's hard to say.
They're up there together. Oh, I said that's T33. Sorry, that's a fighter version of P80 or F80 later on. Basically the same plane, just I should have noticed that has guns on it. T33 did not. Dude, I can't believe they hire someone to sit on that plane all day.
That's what I was saying.
He's good too. Look, he's not moving at all.
They have them in the cases too. I wonder if there's like...
Yeah, that dude in the case hasn't moved since I've been here.
I think there's some sort of like Wallace and Gromit contraption that moves them out actually when they need it. Like,
do they lose their day's pay if they move?
Oh, it's like a small penalty.
B25. Awesome. We talked a lot about this plane. Oh, this is a J model. Quick look at the placard. Average cost, $142,000. What a deal. Doolittle, his crew, 1942, using this plane to attack the Japanese mainland for the first time. Super cool. Look at all the guns on that thing. Holy crap. So why does it have so many guns on there? Suspect.
For all the fighters trying to take it out?
Nope, for strafing. Probably anti-ship. Yes, so they used the B-25s in the Pacific campaign to Japanese, to strafe all the Japanese shipping. And they could concentrate a lot more firepower per attack. And they did an amazing amount of damage with the strafing runs. You wouldn't think. That and the parafrags they would drop. So they'd be parachute retarded explosives. The B-25s would drop those. But airfield attacks and shipping attacks is what I think. That and it just looks cooler. More guns is always cooler. 8 in the nose, 2 on each side and sponsons. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Woo!
How are you?
Hi. All right, we're gonna wrap this segment up right here. That was fun.
Yeah.
Hopefully I got that first section. If not, it's just gonna post with what I got. I thought it'd be louder in here. It's actually pretty reasonable. Over and out. Nothing fancy project. Hill Air Force Space Museum. Looking at some classic, mostly World War II aviation greats. See ya.